I think you just like can take yourself so seriously, especially when you have like different people that are like invested in your career with you, and you move to a big city like LA where you're surrounded by other artists who are chasing the same dream, and like you can get kind of like hyper focused on like the next thing all the time instead of like just like really focusing on like it's like really crazy that we do this as like our full-time career and that we're artists that like have a touring career and have fans, and that was something we always dreamed of as kids, and we've achieved so much of our childhood dreams so far. And I think it's easy to like just like never be present and always be looking for more. And I think even if, I don't know, the world ended tomorrow, like I would be so proud of our band and everything that we've done, and we still want to do so much more, but there was just like a lot of gratitude learned.
Daydream about me, and I know that you hate the nights without me. Baby, I hate them too. But you know, I'm coming back to you. Midnight, my heart is racing. We're wide awake in this hotel room. We only got 6 hours, but sleep don't matter when I'm with you. So just hold on to the memory of me riding in your front seat every day. And I hold on to the smell of your sweater that you wore in December when we met. Daydream about me, and I know that you hate the nights without me. Baby, I hate them too. But you know, I'm coming back to you. Daydream about me, and I know that you hate the nights without me. Baby, I hate them too. But you know, I'm coming back to you. Midnight, your voice is shaking, you're losing patience, so far away. You know that I'd rather run away with you, forget about the things that we gotta do. Yeah, I would rather be at home with you right now, babe. So just hold on to the memory of me riding in your front seat every day. Hold on to the smell of your sweater that you wore in December when we met. I gotta go right now, but until then, daydream about me, and I know that you hate the nights without me. Baby, I hate them too. But you know, I'm coming back to you. Daydream about me, and I know that you hate the nights without me. Baby, I hate them too. But you know, I'm coming back to you, baby.
You know, like we all grew up together, and like our band is really like this extension of like who we are. Like I feel like none of us have ever really known ourselves without it, and so it just, I feel like that kind of translates in like the way we want to dress and the way that we hold ourselves and the way that we just like are. It just kind of feels like we always want to go with like the natural, feels good, doesn't feel like we're trying too hard approach to like everything we do, and that also comes in our relationships of like it's just fun. Like we just have a good time together, and I think that that's why, you know, we've been a band for as long as we have, because it doesn't really feel like most, I mean, we have to try, of course, like every relationship you have to like put
Work
your effort
out.
into, but I think that we naturally just like really complement each other, like our personalities and stuff. And
Which is probably why the relationship between the 4 of us is so strong and beautiful, is because we have had to work really hard in the band together and with each other, and that's just cultivated like a really strong relationship between the 4 of us.
you know, like where we come from, like like music isn't really an option or like a thing that you do as a career. And even when we were like, you know, getting signed to a label and stuff, like we still have people asking us, oh, sorry, like you still doing that band thing? Or like
Still doing the music
I
thing.
like had to like dig our way out of that, what felt like you're in like this ditch and you're like chasing something and everyone's kind of like, we don't do that here, like stop. Kind of, you know. And so I feel really proud of us for like, you know, being out and having a music career and leaving all those expectations behind, and that wasn't easy a lot of the time, especially when we were younger.
We were really lucky with pretty supportive parents and family. Like,
Totally.
I feel like my dad is a big reason why I like knew we could go for it as a band too. Like, I think because of the pressures of our hometown playing, like, you need to go to college, you need to do this, and I just remember him telling me, why wouldn't you go for this? Like, this is a once in a lifetime thing that could last forever. Why wouldn't you try? You know, because even if it doesn't work out, like, at least you gave it your all, kind of thing, you know.
I feel like there's something to be said too about like we were like first generational like artists, like, and we don't have any family or like we didn't know anyone growing up in Utah that was like in the music industry or like in entertainment at all. So I think like going into that, there's like a lot of intimidation and like we were just learning like how to
So much.
do everything.
You
and
just
so
make
like
a lot more mistakes because
Yeah.
you don't have anyone there to tell you how to do it.
yeah.
Sleeping on Saturday, I can't get enough. I just want more, and I've tried to give it space, but I can't deny us anymore. I feel kinda lucky. If you had tonight, and we could get lucky. If you give us a try, you said you want someone to hold it down for you, hold it down with you, yeah. Not just someone to lay it down to you, no. Well, I could be the one to run around with you, and every night, your sleepy eyes, your sleepy eyes. A question I have to ask you. Could you really say that we're just friends? Oh, the thought of it makes me laugh, 'cause I feel the shivers running down your back. What kind of friend has made you feel like that? I feel kinda lucky with you by my side, and we could get lucky if you give us a try. You said you want someone to hold it down for you, hold it down with you, yeah. Not just someone to lay it down to you, no. Well, I could be the one to run around with you, and every night, your sleepy eyes, your sleepy eyes. Oh, yeah. Say what you want, say what you want, say what you want from me. 'Cause I'm what you wanted, I'm what you wanted, I'm everything you need. Like, say what you want, say what you want. And every night, your sleepy eyes.
I've realized this as I've gotten older, and it's something that I like maybe felt shy about when I was younger, but I feel like just like really the simple things of life is what brings me the most joy. Like, obviously playing shows and doing all of that is like so insane, and that is like that connection, the human connection there is what like really fulfills me, like seeing the fans and like connecting with the fans and seeing like how much like this band means to them, and also just like the joy of like going on a walk with my band in a new city and getting a coffee and like just like being in a new place and experiencing like culture and like having really good conversations with each other and with new people that we meet. Like that, those are the things that like really fulfill me and like the things I love the most about what we do.
Yeah. Something that's sparking so much joy for me on a daily basis is getting to tour again, just because we didn't get to do it for so long, and I realized the first time doing it back, that was the first time we'd played like in front of an audience in a long time, like a live audience, and I just had this like whole like body euphoria like take over when I finally got to do that again.
Yeah.
And it like clicked with me so heavily. It's like, oh, this is why I felt so miserable. Like my favorite thing was totally taken away from me for so long, and I just felt like I was like myself again for the first time in a while. So that's definitely, it makes me so happy every night that I get to do that.
One of the things in my life that's always brought me the most joy is like self-expression through like clothing and fashion. As a kid, I was always like dyeing my hair different colors, and then short, and then long, and then blue, and then red, and then I just love self-expression. Like it feels really like a form of art to me through like style and makeup and clothing, and so I've been loving that. I feel like finally getting to not be in my pajamas for all day.
I'm a very social person. I like to be in big groups a lot. And whether that's like with like surrounded by family or like just good people, I love being surrounded by people and sharing conversations, sharing moments, and like being on stage, just like surrounded by people who totally connect to your music, and that feeling you just can't get anywhere else, and it's so magical and inspiring. And
I just feel like we all find each other really funny.
yeah.
That's really like the main thing of our band is we're just so dumb together all the time.
Yeah.
And we're always like pulling faces and like making really stupid jokes and making fun of each other. That's like the most fun part of
Yeah.
our dynamic.
Yeah.
To me, is,
It's
like,
been like that since we were like
stupidness.
10 years old though. Like we would just like go hang out with each other after school and
Yeah.
just like do the stupidest, silliest things
Yeah.
all night long and just like laugh our asses off.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
just how it's always
And
been.
I feel like we make really serious or stiff situations very silly,
Very
because
Yeah.
that's
funny,
just
yeah.
the way we can get through what we do
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
most part.
Like band practices when you were young
Yeah.
was just like goofing around
Hardly
for 3
got
hours and
anything
then like
done.
practicing
Yeah,
for like
like-
2 hours.
Like having to actually really try to discipline ourselves to like do stuff.
Yeah.
Because we just enjoy each other's company. I don't know. It's like we just have a really fun time together, and I
Yeah.
think that like that's why like touring, when you're touring and like when you're tired and when you miss people and stuff, like if us four together, like I feel like we can always find a way to
Yeah.
kind of like make it fun or like blow some steam off or like be there for each other, and it's just, I think that's it. It's like the sense of humor we have, I
Yeah.
think is why we have so much fun together.
This episode of Music Lives On Garden Sessions is presented by the Volkswagen Taos.
I'ma put down my phone, 'cause it makes me feel so alone. Tired of checking on you, 'cause you always look so damn cool. Blue bikini by the pool. You look so much happier without me, and I think I believe it. See this wrong with me, yeah, this wrong with me, yeah, this wrong with you now too. There's a monster in my pocket, yeah, monster in my pocket, yeah, keeps telling me just what to do. Messed up, drinking, smoking, trying to live in the moment. I check the screen just one more time, my phone is trying to kill me. Already, I feel hopeless, trying to live in the moment. I check the screen just one more time, my phone is trying to kill me. Is this really me? I'm a 10 acting like a 3. Now I'm in disbelief, 'cause you got the better of me. So I tell all my friends, I'll never text you again, but I like what? 'Cause you just replied, yeah. That's wrong with me, yeah, that's wrong with me, yeah, that's wrong with you now too. There's a monster in my pocket, yeah, a monster in my pocket, yeah, it keeps telling me just what to do. Messed up, drinking, smoking, trying to live in the moment. I check that screen just one more time, my phone is trying to kill me. Already, I feel hopeless, trying to live in the moment. I check that screen just one more time. What's the problem with me? What's the problem with you? Yeah. That's the problem
we're just like maturing and figuring out more and more the things we want to talk about and things that are important to us. We've grown into, I think, a point in our band where we feel comfortable and ready to like talk about that kind of stuff in a way that feels like very truthful and representative of who we are. And so like Don't Freak was a start into that song we put out, which was just like talking a lot about my struggle with anxiety and panic attacks that I've had for basically my whole life. And I don't know, it kind of just happened. Like there was just this like weird switch, I feel like, that happened. And maybe that was
The
COVID.
weird switch was the pandemic.
Yeah, it was
Like everyone's
switch
mental
that
health
happened.
just like
Switch.
went down the drain, and we're
Was
like,
the global
we should probably talk about this because
Mm-hmm.
this is
But in,
taking
in
over.
the past, I feel like we had tried to talk about stuff like that, but for some reason, the songs that we would, they just didn't feel right. Like I don't know what it was. Like we just would write, we'd try to do stuff like.
maturity, I think, and just knowing
Yeah.
how to like articulate like.
We didn't
those
know how to
feelings
say it.
better.
Well, and you guys
You
had
know?
already written a whole album about like your sexuality. Like you had already like done a lot of really vulnerable things, so maybe it was like easier at that point
Yeah.
to like
That's true.
touch on that subject.
It's like we're unpacking one
Don't
thing at a
Freak-
time.
And Don't Freak started as a completely different concept.
Yeah, it
And
did.
it I think probably with the intensity of the pandemic is what brought
Yeah.
you to that place to be able to like
For sure. It almost feels like,
Articulate.
it almost feels like we didn't even have a choice. It just, that's what was coming out. That's what we wanted to talk about. Like with such a, crazy, crazy time. And now it just feels like the things you want to talk about, there's so much more like at stake. It almost feels like you just have to get more out.
Yeah, like
you
I
know?
feel like when crisis happens like that, you kind of just realize what's most important and like realize like there's so many important things to talk about. And with like the social and like political reckoning that happened, but there was just like, whoa, like there's a lot that we need to talk about. That's like really
There's so
important.
much that's coming to the surface that it just feels like you need to get out and you need to have a say in it. And I feel like this new music we're making is definitely more on like that side of things. Like it feels kind of more urgent, and it just feels like different than anything we've made before. But different in like a really good way. I'm really excited about it.
I think when you're like in the studio writing a song, like I think your only job as an artist is just to try to be like your most raw and open, authentic version of yourself. And we've found like the deeper we go with it and the more raw we get with the lyrics and the storytelling, the deeper it connects with the audience. Because I think when you are making yourself available like that and you're sharing your most like niche feelings and thoughts, you kind of realize like we're actually all the same.
Like we've been working on a lot of music during the pandemic, and it feels almost like once you got rid of all those rules or like just internal like fear around it, like the way that we've been like making new music together recently feels almost like when we were kids. Like it's like we're back to that like like before society and like all those thoughts were in our heads. Like now we're back to that again and just like
Kind of freedom.
creating, like it does feel very free, I think.
Yeah. It's more like about us creating together. So that feels really good and like just really creatively fulfilling.